Let's talk about your Memphis days.
We're coming up on Atlanta, by the way. You want me to pick up the pace a little bit? We're almost to Atlanta.
No.
We're about halfway there.
But you were
fuck Dutch. I should have made a right in Albuquerque. I fucked up. I gotta turn around.
You were a big fan of Jerry Lawler, right?
Well, since we met in the alley, 14 years old. Yeah, since then.
So do you think Memphis?
Why would you never meet me in the alley when I was 14? You never come back to meet me. Is there a reason?
Well, you sent me those gifts.
But I thought it would be enough to lure you to come see me. I just wanted a goddamn autograph. That's all I wanted.
It just didn't happen.
Why were you such not?
Why were you such a fan of Lawler when he was a big heel?
I'll tell you why. For whatever reason, and you may disagree, because Jimmy used to be furious when people would come, because I was Jerry Lawler in high school. I had the mannerisms. I would do the promos. I was the king. I even bought a blue crown. Let me show you something. I'm fat, and you're about to see that. This is a crown that I bought when I had a blue Thunderbird. As you can tell, it's dusty as fuck because I haven't pulled it down in forever. It sits on top of my 70-inch computer screen. That is a crown, and a lot of the decorations have all come off. I bought this crown in 1979 and put it in the back of my blue Thunderbird. And I was known for being the king of LaGrange and having this blue crown in the back window of my midnight blue Thunderbird. It needs to be cleaned. I'm glad.
The king of LaGrange.
The king of LaGrange. And that's an honor. That's an honor. There weren't many of us. I was I was the only one. So, but now I possess this crown now that keeps in a glass case. It don't get dusty and dirty. And you know who sent me that? He denies it, but it came from Memphis. Who else has got crowns like that in Memphis? Thank you. So, what was we talking about?
No, your obsession with Jerry Lawler.
Oh, my obsession with Jerry. So, kids in school, because I've got all the mannerisms down. I walk like Jerry. I talk like Jerry. I lived Jerry Lawler, and I loved getting heat. I loved getting people pissed at me. I loved starting shit with people. I would start arguments with teachers because I think when I became a real big fan of Lawler, I weighed about 160. And when I graduated high school, I weighed 212. And I remember that Jerry was doing a television segment. He was going to fight Nelson Royal for the junior heavyweight title. And in order to fight for that title, Lawler had to get to 219. So they do the thing where Lance weighs him on the scale. I don't remember if you were there for this or not, but Lawler gets on the scale and they never show the number. Because Lawler was supposedly around 232, 236 around that area. It didn't look like he'd lost anything, but he gets on the scale and he goes, aha, look at that, Lance. And then Lance puts over that he weighs 219, but we never see the number. So Lawler comes out to meet me. You know where the guys would go meet the fans at the Louisville Gardens on either side, the heels on one side, babyface on there. Well, Lawler is a babyface getting ready to fight Nelson Royal for the NWA junior heavyweight title. Had to get to 219. So Lawler, I weigh 212. It's my senior year in high school. Lawler comes out and I look at Jerry. I said, so you're 219 and I'm 212, right? And he just looked at me and grinned like, yeah, right. So he didn't get to know 219. So that match should have never happened. The NWA commissioner should have stepped in and stopped that shit. So all my high school friends, you look just like Jerry Lawler. Well, the one thing I could never do is, I could never grow a beard of any type whatsoever. So if I could have, I would have grown a goatee in a fucking heartbeat. And I just emulated him that much, but never could grow a beard. So finally, he tries to look like me, and he goes clean face, clean shaven. But now the one thing that I have that he wishes he had would be my hair. So. What do you do? We'll see what I look like 10 years from now.
Okay,
did I just take a jab at the King's hair? Not me. I wouldn't do that.
Being a big fan of Memphis wrestling, when do you say the peak of Memphis wrestling was? What years you think?
The peak of my entertainment, number one, I loved the feud because it was so good. I thought you two had real heat, but I think he told me that you and him did not. But remember when he was sitting at the broadcast desk with you and one of you reached over and slapped the other one? I think you slapped him. Is that who slapped who first? Because you were both baby faces.
Yeah.
but they were building to the feud with you. And I guess and I think the fans were 50-50, 60-40. It was closer than I thought because Lawler's Memphis. You don't claim to be Memphis. You shit on Memphis when you were a heel. But that feud with you two, it felt so fucking real. But then again, the feuds with him and Dundee felt real. He claims that him and Dundee didn't have that much heat, but when they were both baby faces, I thought they were fighting for the same female marks. So I thought there might be some heat there over if the little girls paid more attention to Bill than they paid to Jerry, that there'd be heat, or vice versa. So, but I thought You're All Shit had some realness to it. And did you and Jerry ever have any backstage conflicts that would lead to where if I get my chance, I'm going to bust that fucker in the mouth?
No.
Because he said pretty much the same thing about you. And I didn't believe him. So.
Well, what I found
because that feud looked real as shit.
Well, that's part of the art, is to make it seem legit.
Well, of course, yeah. That's why Jerry Jarrett claimed he didn't know if me and Cornette were shooting. That's the ultimate compliment. If Jerry Jarrett don't know, then who the fuck does? You know, you can guess, but if Jerry don't know and he's responsible for teaching Jimmy and the cast around him, as a matter of fact, another story about Jim Cornette. You were the first person he ever tried to sign. Did you remember that or know that?
But I wasn't the first person he managed.
No, because you turned him down. You tore his contract up and made him cry on television.
Nope.
Yeah, you did.
Well, I guess I'm a liar now, Kenny.
Well, thank you for admitting it. Thank you for admitting it.
I guess I don't even know my own history.
You tore his contract up. Now, I don't know who he managed first, but you tore his contract up and made him cry, and he went home to mama.
Yeah, I did do that, which was a good segment, by the way.
It was a great segment because that was among the first time he'd ever appeared on television, was trying to sign you.
Actually, we came up with that segment the night before when we were coming in from Tupelo.
Shockingly, you had a cigar in your mouth when you tore his contract up.
I did. So who was the first person that Jimmy managed? It's a girl. It's a female.
Sherry Martell.
Yep, that was her.
Sherry Martell, because he introduced me to Sherry Martell in Lexington.
You know, Lexington.
Rupp Arena.
The capital of Kentucky. That is the capital, right or no?
No. Would you like to guess what the capital? There you go. Frankfurt. There you go.
Frankfurt.
Yeah.
But Lexington,
a lot of people think Louisville's the capital because we're the biggest city. But Frankfurt, which is tiny compared to Louisville, Lexington, and Paducah.
But Lexington, Kentucky had that big Rupp Arena. 21,000
I
seats.
was born in Lexington, for the record. Stayed there 3 days.
Let the record reflect that he was born in where? Lexington, Kentucky.
Lexington. Yes.
But what a great building for wrestling.
Oh my God. And they curtained half of it off for wrestling for Memphis. And it still held 9,000 people.
Yeah. That was
y'all would put 9,000 in there for every show. Louisville maximum was 5,000 people. Maybe 6,600 if you got creative with the seating. Rupp Arena was the big deal. Once a month, Thursday nights. I remember the San Diego Chicken appeared there. I don't know if you were around for that. That's when Jesse the Body Ventura was here. Were you there for that? San Diego Chicken appeared at goddamn Rupp Arena for Memphis wrestling.
And when I found out how much they paid him, I hit the ceiling.
That was Giovanni. Was that his name?
I think so.
Something Giovanni. Yeah. What did he get paid? Because that story I don't know.
I think he got $2,500.
Goddamn good money in the 1970s and early 80s.
Oh, it's like $10,000 or $12,000 now. So,
oh hell yeah! Every bit of every bit of. Yeah, it's a good payday.
It could be more. But
so what you're saying is that you did not get $2,500 that night at Rupp Arena.
No, I did. I did not. And what made you want to get into wrestling anyway?
It was Jimmy's idea. Jimmy, I didn't have a lamp.
But you hate Jimmy.
Well, not then. Not then. This is 1981, 82, maybe. Jimmy was one of the youngest managers ever in wrestling.
Did Jimmy get you in?
No, never did. But the story was when I called, because the plan is that eventually he was going to let Jerry Jarrett know that we wanted to get in wrestling. We've been around since 1974. We're smart. We know everything. You ain't got to teach us shit. That was what we thought. And I'm going to be the manager and Kenny's going to be the wrestler. Kenny's going to be the next Jerry Lawler. He knows all the shit. We can even call him Kenny Lawler. And I will be Kenny's man. That was the plan, is that Jimmy was going to be my manager and we were going to fucking take over. We're in our early 20s. So Jimmy gets the meeting with Jerry Jarrett. I call him from the payphone in LaGrange, Kentucky, because I didn't have a landline then. I call him, drop my dime, call Jimmy, and I said, you had the meeting with Jerry Jarrett? Yeah. Yeah, Kenny, I started on such and such date.
You dropped a dime in a payphone.
Well, that's what it cost to make a phone call then.
And the people don't know that.
It has a whole nother context now, doesn't it?
Yes,
Back then it meant you put a dime in a phone is what it meant. It didn't mean you dropped a dime back in the day. Dime wouldn't get you shit. But no, I literally put a dime in a payphone. Eventually it went to a quarter. It got expensive to call people. So I put the dime, called Jimmy. He tells me he had the meeting with Jerry Jarrett. And in my hand to God, this is what he told me. I said, so when do we
wait a minute.
Yes.
When did we get into religion here? My hand to God.
My hand to, well, this is how I always say it. My hand to God, or whatever it is that you pray to. That's how I cover the whole shit. You know what I pray to. So my hand to God, or whatever it is you pray to. So I said, well, when do we start? He said, well, Kenny, it ain't we yet. I said, really? You had a meeting with Jerry Jarrett without me and you didn't fucking go to bat for me? I said, why? Well, Kenny, here's the plan. I'm going to get in first and I'm going to lay the groundwork. Give me about a year to lay the groundwork and put in the good word for you and everything. And then I'm going to pull you in and I'll be your manager and you be the wrestler and we're going to take over just like we planned. I said, now the plan was we were going to go together. And I said, but you had the meeting with Jerry Jarrett without me, and now you're in and I'm not. So a little tension. I was pissed. A little tension.
So,
all right.
Could we say this was the first time the screws were applied just a little bit?
Yeah. That would probably be the first. Yeah, that would be the first. But being a supportive friend, I was happy for him and very proud of him. And he's about to be on the biggest fucking television show in Louisville, Memphis, Lexington, Tupelo, Jonesboro, Nashville. It was always number one in every damn market. And I'm jealous as shit because there's only 4 fucking channels. We didn't even have cable yet. We didn't even have cable. The least known star in Memphis is a star at anywhere he goes because he's on the most watched out. You remember Radford Tyndall?
No.
You know, he was one of the jobbers on Memphis. You remember Jerry Bryant?
I remember him.
Above Radford Tyndall, but still a jobber. He wasn't never going to win no belts. He wasn't never going to be in no main event, semi-main event, or even mid-card. Jerry Bryant was an opening match jobber that looked a lot like Jerry Calhoun, and he emulated Jerry Lawler, but not very good, not as good as I could have done. So, but the least known Memphis television guy was a big star everywhere he went because he was on Memphis television. Many of those guys, because I don't think anybody technically got paid for TV, did they?
I was thinking about that the other day.
Yeah.
I don't think so because they said
a privilege to advertise your craft.
No kidding.
Danny Davis inherited that.
But in those days, we were making pretty good money.
Yes. Yeah, you weren't concerned about inconveniencing yourself for an hour to advertise all the next 6 towns you're going to make a big paycheck at.
We were already in the area on Saturday morning because,
of course,
they always ran a town on Friday night close to Memphis. So
and then Saturdays, you all would do Jonesboro on Saturdays, right?
Sometimes, or Nashville. Yeah. People have never brought this up, but ECW, they had a hot run. I went in the store one time and a guy recognized me. He went, "Are you Dirty Dutch Man?" I went, "Yeah." "Oh, wow, man. Wow, big fan, man."
Yeah.
I said, "Okay." He says,
"Thank you.
Hey, man, you ever do that ECW stuff like they do up there?" And I went, and that pissed me off. I went,
"Yeah,
where do you think ECW got that shit from? Where did Paul Heyman get that shit from?"
I know where a lot of people say Memphis, Tennessee.
Memphis. He came down there and he went through Continental and he picked up the Southern style.
Saw the concession stand brawl.
And he took it back to Philadelphia. to a virgin audience, and it took
that had not
off.
seen it.
And somebody said, "Oh, ECW's better than Memphis Men." I said, "According to how you judge it." I said, "How big is ECW?"
Once again, let's talk body of work.
Yeah, I said,
They had some days. They had some days.
How big is ECW arena? Oh no, man. I said, well, it's about 1,000, 2,000 people.
Yeah,
no, it's not that big. Not that big.
2,000. How many did Hammerstein hold? When Raw first went, what did that hold? Under 2,000?
Oh yeah.
I didn't realize it was that small. Okay.
No, it wasn't big.
Yeah, I knew it was small. I didn't realize it was under 2,000 though. Damn. Okay.
I've never been in there.
But I would assume you had.
They drew, the ECW drew about 1,000 people, 1,200 people in a smaller building. Memphis drew sometimes 12,000, 10,000, 8,000.
Oh yeah, most of the crowds I would hear Lance Russell announce were 12,000 at Memphis.
And what I'm saying is, and how often did they run the ECW Philadelphia house? Every month, every 6 weeks?
Once a month, yeah. At most once a month.
Memphis ran how long? How often?
Every Monday night. Louisville every Tuesday night.
Yep.
Nashville may have been Wednesdays, Rupp Arena once a month on Thursdays. You got Evansville. Evansville was Wednesday nights, my bad. Yep. Nashville was Saturday nights.
Yep.
Memphis TV Saturday morning. Jonesboro, Arkansas. Was that Sunday shows for Jonesboro?
It's Saturday.
Tupelo. Saturday, Tupelo.
Saturdays
and sometimes you guys were running 2 shows on Saturdays. You'd have the split shows. Lawler would have a group at one show. Dundee'd have a group at another. Cornette got labeled with Dundee's group. Hart was under Lawler's group, and guess who got paid more?
Well, yeah,
I heard him bitch about it a lot.
Who? Jimmy?
Jimmy, yeah, him and Dundee.
Jimmy, they were paying him. Jimmy put this out when business went down. They were paying him like $250, $300 a week.
I have a story. I remember when Jimmy, I moved him to Nashville, and I also moved him to Alexandria, Louisiana. When I moved him to Nashville, I remember he wrote me and said that he had to borrow money from his mother to pay his electric bill. I said, Jimmy, you're on Jimmy Cornette.
Jimmy, yeah,
Jimmy Cornette. I said, Jimmy, you're on fucking Memphis television. You are the lead heel manager. Him and Hart. How the hell are you not able to pay your electric bill? He says, well, I'm not. He never told me what he was making. That sounds about right, because I remember Steve Austin saying that he was lucky to make $200 or $300 a week when he was.
Steve Austin died there. Well, listen, that was
in the period. More or less, yeah.
I was booking during that time. It's no telling you couldn't do enough. You didn't have the talent to do it.
Yeah, because Hulk Hogan, we thought died there. We thought Brutus Beefcake died there when they were Terry and Eddie Boulder. I don't know if you were around for that era or not.
No, I wasn't around for that one.
Yeah,
but it was when WWE was running all the blamed. When WWE was running all the moms and pops out of business. And once they've seen that WWE TV, then you go back to a regional TV. They went, they didn't watch it anymore.
Worldwide television, Coliseum matches, closed circuit television for the first WrestleMania.
Like the old saying goes, how you going to keep them down on the farm when they've seen Broadway?
There you go.
They're gone.
But so yet, wasn't Memphis the last territory to kind of give way though? And another story.
It was next to last.
Another story I remember hearing about Memphis is that during Major League Baseball playoffs, Memphis Morning Wrestling was outrating Major League Baseball, not regular season, fucking playoffs and World Series. Memphis was getting bigger ratings than Major League Baseball playoffs and World Series. That's pretty serious fucking rating.
And when was this? During
that was during your era when you, Lawler, Dundee, Handsome Jimmy, during that era, they couldn't touch you.
Memphis TV was at one time doing prime time numbers. It was doing numbers
at 11 in the morning
on Saturday morning. It was doing prime time numbers. Now, if they had known what they know today about selling TVs and doing that, but they didn't know, and the TVs wouldn't pay for it.
Yeah, no, not then.
Memphis TV would do a 55 or 60% share
Share,
of
yeah.
all the TVs.
All the
in
TVs
area.
on in Memphis, up to 60% of them were watching Memphis morning wrestling.
Yep.
That's a lot of goddamn people watching wrestling.
Sometimes they would do a rating of a 22. Dallas
Damn.
was doing a 22 back in those days.
And WWE bragged their ass off if they drew an 8 or a 9 share.
Which, well, that was.
But that's national. That's national, of course.
But it was good, really, really good.
Yeah.
But then again, your cable systems and it's changed. So it's maybe not correct to compare this era with this era because the TV systems.
I have got horrible news. Jonesboro is under construction. We're going to have to detour. We got to, not Jonesboro, Johnson City. Johnson City. I thought I'd made another wrong turn. Yeah, Johnson City's under construction.
Well, I don't think I have any more questions. Let me ask you this before we go.
Yeah.
But we're getting about ready to wrap this up.
Well, we haven't even got to Memphis yet. So.
Well, not yet.
I fucked up.